Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we'll make an exit sign out of pine with the Lord's Prayer on it. This pine project came out really nice, and the reason we use pine is twofold. Number one, it's going to go over a door, and as a result you don't want a very heavy piece of wood that goes up, and if you're up on a ladder and stuff like that, it's not really a lot of fun to do. So a very relatively thin pine. This is roughly 3/4 inch or 18 millimeters. And a couple of things you want to keep in mind with the design. Originally the customer, we agreed to do a rectangular one, but then we added these things here. And what these are is actually the Colorado mountain range. And the customer said, why don't we do that? And I thought that was a wonderful idea. So they sent me off an image. I don't know if they took it from their balcony or not, but basically all I did was stretch out the design so that you have exaggerated pixelation along the top. Because you have to keep in mind this we looked at a distance, and because it's at a distance, there's still a little bit of sawdust on it. You want to exaggerate any features that you would have, because generally what this would be a lot flatter. But again, at a distance, you want to have all of this stretched out so that you can sort of make out the different peaks on the Colorado mountain range. Now in the shop, I prefer to keep material as raw as possible, and this was done with rough sawn pine that was planed, as you just saw. The reason why I want to work off as raw material as possible is because we don't know what will be coming in the shop and what the specs will be. Some customers actually want laser engraved raw pine, and others want the nice smooth surface. Now when we buy the lumber, there are definitely features that you want to keep in mind. One are knots. Real wood has knots. If you see furniture that has no knots, most likely it's a vinyl finish on an MDF core or something like that. It's not real wood. Real wood has knots. If you look at the old Pioneer kitchens and all those kind of things, they all have knots all over them, and they're really beautiful. But if you don't want knots, then it's really tough to do that, because again, real wood has knots. This is where the branches will come out. laser engraving is finished on the pine, the next step is to sand the surface. Now this here was actually masked, and what we have to do is remove the mask. The purpose of the mask on something like this here is just to reduce the amount of sanding that's required after, because the resins and other particles in the wood that come up from the laser settle back down onto the material, and if they land on the mask, it's a lot easier to remove this way than it is to actually sand the whole piece. Now I do get inquiries about how we go about actually shipping something like this out. If it's a very hard wood, let's say oak or walnut or something like that, generally all we do is put cardboard over it and ship it out as is. It's a very hard and dense wood, and it's really hard to actually mark it up. Now when it comes to something like this that is out of pine, it's a very soft wood, and as a result what we do is generally cut a thin ply of plywood, and we put it on both sides, and then we ship that out to the customer. That makes sure that nothing gets dinged or banged onto while it's flying over. So if you're looking for custom signage, regardless of the text or imagery you want on it or the base material, in this case it's pine, but this can be walnut, this can be oak, this can be maple, literally anything that you want, contact me at CNCKing.com and we'll make the custom wood signage just for you.